Hi everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric, and today we got our 3-year anniversary video, and I'm standing in my office where I make everything because I put my face on the channel for the first couple videos and I never used it again, but I am a real person, I do exist, and this is our 3-year update video. And if we're lucky, we'll be doing another 3-year update video in 3 more years, because I have no plans to stop the channel, but you've seen enough of this mug, so let's get right into the video, guys.
Okay, now we're back on the microphone. It's been a really fun year for the channel. We found 2 different really interesting Neo Geo prototypes, the first being that Hyper Neo Geo 64 Samurai Shodown 64 cart that was found in a field, and I am still working on dumping it, but this was a really fun thing to be able to find as a Hyper Neo Geo and Neo Geo fan, and we were able to really break down what we did with the prototype, the differences, and kind of the story behind how it was found, because it was really interesting to find a prototype Hyper Neo Geo 64 game in a field in California under a tarp and under a tree. That sounds like something I 100% made up, but it is 100% the truth. And the great thing about finding these things is that it allows me to kind of elaborate more on the history of what went on with these lesser known consoles. Like I said, I'm still working on dumping the ROM. It is just extremely difficult because there's 96 chips I need to access. But the great part about stories like this is that they actually go pretty wide over the internet. Eurogamer wrote a story on my find for the Hyper Neo Geo 64, and that story ended up getting picked up by different outlets that disseminated the information even further around. Kotaku wrote about it as well, and that's always great because people get a sense of what's going on in preservation, and the channel obviously gets a bigger boost in viewers. And I did the same thing with the SNK Millennium, the cancelled home console and arcade board that was supposed to succeed the Hyper Neo Geo 64, and being able to show a platform that never came out whatsoever, that was rumored to exist but nobody really knew about it. That was awesome. So a big thanks to Maxwell, the owner of the board, for sending it into the channel to take a look at, and hopefully more people have some rare stuff that they want me to show off in the future. But that was a really fun thing to be able to do and to get the press and to show everybody, and a lot of people were into the Hyper Neo Geo 64 stuff, so I have been kind of revisiting some of those episodes. But a lot of what we've been doing this year is MiSTer stuff, the MiSTer FPGA D10 Nano board. We have an entire series, almost 40 videos long now, how to set it up, how it works, comparing the cores against original hardware, comparing the cores against emulation. It's been a ton of fun to look at a brand new device in the gaming scene that gives you more access to retro games without having to own all of the original hardware or having to deal with software emulation if that's not what you're into. And I'm going to continue to make MiSTer videos because people have been really enjoying them. The stats have been great, so we're definitely going to continue on with that. But if there's anything that I haven't done with MiSTer yet that you really do want to see, leave me a comment down below, because I'm always taking viewer feedback, because I'd love to know, do you want to see more hardware mods for MiSTer, like when we set up the Damon Byte USB adapters so we could use our home arcade sticks on the system? Do you want to see more core comparisons against software emulation? I love hearing your feedback, so definitely tell me what you're thinking about when you want to watch MiSTer stuff, and maybe I'll make it. And don't forget, if you do want to get access to what I'm doing ahead of time, I do have a Patreon. The link is in the description below. We got 14 members right now. Hopefully that grows, but I appreciate everybody's support, and it really does help the channel do everything we possibly can. So check that link out below. But again, we revisited some of the original videos on the channel because a lot of what we started with was the 3DO M2, and people are very curious about that still. And since I led with some of the rarest content when I didn't have a user base, I wanted to go back and just kind of revisit some of these games and kind of just keep 3DO M2 stuff at the forefront of preservation, at least as far as my channel is concerned. Because there are 5 awesome arcade games that are available for you to purchase, and we're working on making them run on different types of hardware that aren't arcade origin, and I always am still hunting betas and other software. I've either already released or I will be shortly VizHouse. It is a 3D design software program for the 3DO M2. Is it fun? No. Is this preservation and getting another file out there into the world for everybody to enjoy? Absolutely. I'll keep looking. I'm running out of stuff, but you never know what I find. We also did an entire series on the Wii U, which I was really excited about, and found very quickly that the stats were absolute garbage. This entire series was a failure from start to finish as far as getting people to watch it was concerned. I wanted to try to talk about something a little bit more modern, and honestly, I'll probably never do that again because that's not what my audience wants to see. But what we did get a chance to look at a lot is the Apple Pippin. I found a prototype console. I was on eBay one night after drinking a little bit too much, threw in a fun bid, and accidentally won it. So we did an entire series on the Apple Pippin. That was a ton of fun to show people some of the rarer and more obscure hardware that is out out there. People really enjoyed it, and I may do 1 or 2 more Pippin episodes in the future, but again, leave me a comment if you're curious about more Pippin stuff. But one of the things we did an entire series on that was a ton of fun were all the Atomis Wave to Dreamcast conversions in 2020 and 2021. Basically, the entire Atomis Wave library came over to Dreamcast, and both Kenju and Force 5 were made to run on Dreamcast as well. So Dreamcast got a ton of amazing games for you to play in 2020 and 2021, and I hope that trend continues. Because 2021 was an awesome year for Dreamcast, we finally got Castlevania Resurrection. This was rumored to exist, but no one had seen it for years, and it actually came out, and that was 100% spectacular to cover. And we even got more beta content from Agarth, the canceled survival horror game for Dreamcast. I did not release these are other people's work, but I always give a spotlight on the channel to cool new alpha and beta releases, and I will 100% continue to do so because Dreamcast is one of my all-time favorite consoles that has ever existed, and that's why I did an entire series on the Dreamcast, on the Hikaru, and on the Sega Naomi, and that was a ton of fun to talk about. Sadly, it is now done. Maybe I'll revisit it and add 10 more episodes in the future. All the stats are really good on that, so if you want to see more Dreamcast and Naomi stuff, leave me a comment down below, because really what I'm trying to find out is what everyone that's watching is interested in seeing more of, because I'm always guessing and I'm always doing new things. Some of them are successful, like the MiSTer stuff. Some of them are horribly unsuccessful, like the Wii U stuff. But if there's something you want to see, let me know, because I like making you guys happy and making videos for you. And of course, we're going to continue reviewing all the Capcom CPS, CPS2, and CPS3 games that ever existed. And after that's over, I'm going to continue to do some thorough arcade reviews of entire libraries of games. And of course, we have all the CPS3 stuff coming next year as well, because there are just so many games to talk about from Capcom on that hardware. And of course, we're right in the middle of doing the PCFX stuff. I'm recording this voiceover before that starts, so hopefully it has been a success. If it hasn't, I've probably pivoted and changed to something completely and tucked these in on Friday, but it's an awesome platform that no one gives any credit to, and it's one of those systems that if you are looking for really something fun and unique to play, it's going to have more than you expect on it. And of course, because we love talking about rare hardware and platforms, we're doing an entire series in the spring on the PGM, and you get to find out about it here first. I'm going to go over all the hardware like I do usually, and then I'm going to have 8 episodes all on original hardware of different awesome games on the PGM, because it is not very well known, and some of the games are spectacular and as good as some of the stuff that SNK or Capcom were doing when they were making games. You got fighting games, you have absolutely amazing beat-em-ups, and the best part about the PGM is it's one of the ways to get cave original games as cheaply as possible, because I do have one cartridge I'll be showing off on the PGM, and honestly, it really is a ton of fun, and as far as collecting for caves concerned, it's the cheapest way to get into it. But speaking of next year, I'm doing a 10-part series on survival horror games, and not the ones that you're expecting to see, rarer or stranger ones, things like Mizurna Falls, now that they have that English translation that's out, because I've always loved survival horror and janky PlayStation 1 era Japanese games, and I really want to talk more about them. We're going to be doing some more mainstream stuff like Resident Evil 1.5, but we're really going to be bouncing around between PlayStation 1 jank and more modern stuff like Carrier on Dreamcast or Haunting Ground on PlayStation 2. This is going to start in January because it's going to be cold and dark out, and that feels like the perfect time to talk about survival horror games that aren't super mainstream, and I am really excited about that series, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And of course, I'm going to always continue with Unported Playlist. I have episodes uploaded for that through April of 2022, and I'm always making more. It seems to be my longest running and most popular series as far as comments and what people enjoy seeing, so I hope you're getting into that. And I will continue to revisit some of the games that I talked about a long time ago when I had a much smaller platform, things like Golden Axe, Revenge of Death Adder, or Lack of Love on the Dreamcast. There's so many cool games I talked about when I had like 300 subscribers that I want to give them a bigger audience. And I do have one more exceedingly rare thing to show you guys. It is one of one in the world. You can take guesses in the comments down below, but I did blur it out here like an episode of Cops, so you get to find out in a little bit what that may actually be. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun doing this for 3 years. In the last year, we've had a ton of press. We had a lot more subscribers, or well over 10,000 now, and hopefully by the 4-year anniversary, we're at that 20,000 subscriber mark. But that's what we're doing on the channel in the past, and that's what we're doing moving forward. I've had a ton of fun making all of this, and I will continue to do so. I love each and every one of my subscribers and viewers, but leave me a comment down below. Are you enjoying the channel? What do you like about it? What do you think I should do different? And what would you like to see moving forward? But yeah, it's our 3-year birthday. I can't believe we've been doing this for 3 years, and hopefully we got 3 more years in us. But short of that, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, that notification bell definitely helps us out, and leave a comment. You just tell me, what is it that you want to see on the channel? What do you enjoy? What have you been liking? And what would you like to see more of? Short of that, thanks so much for watching and sticking with us for 3 years. And like I said, hopefully we'll be doing another episode of this in 3 more years. Bye-bye.